Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to a new Jump Force video, and by request we have the Aizen guide here for you guys. Coming up next, I know I got a lot of requests. I think Sasuke is gonna be next, then I think Gon, and then I think we're gonna redo Deku. So definitely look forward to those. Yes, they are coming. I'm trying to pump these out as best and as fast as I can daily. So guys, without further ado, let's get right into Aizen. Alright guys, Aizen's first ability, Fiery Lightning Howl, can connect with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th light, the 3rd heavy, the first part of the down tilt, and a charged up tilt. If you're asking yourself why doesn't it connect with the 1st and 2nd heavy, I've done it before. Because it actually doesn't connect, your opponent has a chance to guard, and if they do guard and they're smart enough, you will be unsafe and you will get punished. Alright guys, Aizen's second ability, Black Coffin, obviously does not connect with any of his strings. However, when you use it, it does take exactly or around 8.7 seconds to pull off. Now, you're never really going to land this in a game, but later I can show you actually how to use this ability in some of your combo strings and how to actually use it to, bait out your opponent or do anything like that. Now moving over to Aizen's third ability, Airtight. Now this actually does connect with the 4th light. Nothing else. You can say an up tilt if you want to up tilt and then kind of like, move a little closer and try and, guess where it's going to come in. However, it only connects on the 4th light confirmed. And I'll actually explain how I use this because I do use this in ranked only for very specific situations that I'll get to later in the advanced section. So stay tuned for that. Alright guys, Aizen's ultimate 5, Dragon Destruction, connects with all of his lights and all of his heavies. It does not connect with the 2nd down tilt, so the 1st and 3rd one are good to go. All of the up tilts it does not connect with. The charged up tilt is okay. If you want to do the charged down tilt, you need to jump in heavy after and then press ultimate. Basic things about that first ability is that you can use it in the air freely, or if you want to if you're jumping and mashing square, you can use it in the air like that. Now, if you didn't know, you can, when you're doing this, use it and then use it one more time and it will actually connect. You cannot connect it a 3rd time. A lot of people don't know that, so if you do have 2 bars, you get off an air light combo, go ahead and use it one more time to get some extra damage. You can continue a light string after it, however, they'll mostly white out if you try and go to heavies or just do that many lights. So usually I think you just opt for the double lightning, you get more damage out of it. Basic things to know about Black Coffin is that you can guard from it and it does take health away. So as you can see, the health is slowly giving away. It's pretty much a ticking time bomb. That's literally what it is. But if they're coming up to me and they're about to grab me, I can guard, I can guard and grab cancel, or if they're just going to use an ability that's going to put me in a cutscene, I just guard right away, bait them pretty much. So Aizen has some pretty nice baiting potential with this ability. Also, if you didn't know, if I use Airtight, Airtight does have a timer. However, if I am using Black Coffin when Airtight is up, it will stay until I guard or until Black Coffin is finished. So let's say before I finish it, I need to guard, it will disappear right here. But it pretty much stays the duration you're using it, so you can walk up a little closer to it and then go ahead and use Black Coffin for extra safety. Basic things to know about Airtight is that you are the only person that can run through this. If the enemy tries to run through it, they'll get blown back. It doesn't do damage or anything, but it just kind of protects you, keeps you safe through trying to run out the clock. It is a 2-bar ability. Other things, projectiles cannot go through it, even your own, so if I try and use lightning, it will be stopped. What's another thing? I was under the impression that when you use an assist, assists can't go through. However, if it's a melee assist, I guess it can go through now. I swear that wasn't a thing, so that might have changed, or maybe it's always been a thing. I don't play too much Aizen. However, assists that have range attacks will not go through, but I guess Toguro, Bisky, assists like that, I guess they can go through. Alright guys, getting into Aizen's grab string. Now, Aizen doesn't have too many good grabs. They're pretty much all equally slow here. You can grab on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th light. I'd recommend the 4th. I don't know why. It just feels the best for me. But I feel like they're all pretty much the same speed. Aizen is someone that you don't really need to grab. I'm going to show you some stuff to open up your opponent with later, because he's very much like, very annoying with all the random dashes and him disappearing everywhere. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So grabbing is okay if you don't do it too much. If you start to do it too much, it's pretty hard to get a grab on Aizen. Stage transitions for Aizen are only on the 3rd light and the 4th light. Again, not a lot of characters have like a bunch of these, but Aizen's are just 3rd and 4th. Alright guys, I think it's actually time to get into some advanced stuff with Aizen. I can't really think of any other just basic stuff that we usually do. I mean, yeah, I think the rest of the stuff I have planned for him is pretty advanced, so let's get to it. So first thing in the advanced section here for Aizen is we're going to show you how to open up your opponent when you're playing Aizen. So what I like to do is to do 2 lights, vanish behind him, and grab. As you can see, the vanish didn't exactly work, and I'll explain what I mean by this. So usually as Aizen, his 3rd light, as you can see, teleports behind the enemy. And so what we want to do is get behind the enemy with a vanish and make them believe we're going to go for a light. And what do you think people are going to do when they expect a light to come from behind, right? They're going to guard. And so while they're guarding, we can just go ahead and vanish behind them and grab. Now clearly it's not a clean vanish behind them because the 2nd light pushes them a little bit further away and we can't really get there. Especially if we start the light from like over here, I don't think we're going to be able to get behind them. However, if you start close enough, actually that works. So I think it's just kind of basis of where you are. I'd still definitely try it, but let me go ahead and show you what you should do if they aren't falling for this. So guys, if they're not falling for it, they're probably backstepping. Yes, they might sidestep or they might just, you know, I don't know, try and grab reset. However, if they do grab right in the middle of this, it's going to whiff and you can punish them with lights and heavies, whatever you want to do. But most of the time, if they're not falling for this, they're backstepping. Very rare that you get sidesteppers, but if they sidestep, it still works. So you actually have 2 options here if they are doing either of these things. So you can do 2 lights, vanish, and then do a vanish dash. Sorry, not vanish dash, just dash, right? 2 lights, vanish, and then dash. This would catch backsteppers. However, if they sidestep, you're going to be going all the way across. They're going to sidestep and you're going to miss. You're going to end up like way over here, which isn't bad. It just puts you at a neutral position with your opponent. However, we want to be up in their face. So what I recommend doing is something like this. As you can see, I teleported twice. Now I didn't vanish twice. What I did was I did 2 lights, vanish, and I just hit square again. And if you didn't know, like let's say if I do this and I vanish and I press, that was my heavy string. If I press whatever string I'm doing fast enough, it will continue the string that I was doing. So if I'm doing a light string and I vanish and I press square again really fast, it will continue from where I left off before. So, like I told you before, since our 3rd light teleports behind, if we vanish behind him and then use our 3rd light, we'll get like a double kind of, you know, transmission here going behind them. So let's say they think I'm going to grab right here, right? They're going to backstep and I catch them on this teleport here. The 3rd light tracks pretty insanely. It's pretty annoying. So if they backstep, you actually hit them with the 3rd light. You can go into heavies or into lights or anything. Pretty much, basically, you've opened them up and now you're hitting them. So do whatever you want to do. Other things you can do with this is if you want to backstep backwards and then use the light, it's pretty gnarly. You know, you're all the way back there and they're not going to expect you to just show up right behind them. So remember, this 3rd light, guys, is pretty insane. You can do it with the, that was bad. You can do it with the 3rd heavy too. So if I do 2 heavies here, and I backstep and I use the heavy, I get right behind them. However, the 3rd heavy is very unsafe. They can sidestep this. And I believe they can actually sidestep this 2nd heavy right there too. So Aizen's heavies are kind of unsafe, so I recommend kind of sticking to his lights, even though I tend to do all the heavies. I don't know why. It's just most people seem to choke on these heavies here for some reason. I don't know what it is, but stick with the lights for now, because it's just probably your best bet. This is really unsafe to do. Alright guys, things to know about his light string is that most of Aizen's attacks like keep your opponent on the ground, which gives us a very good opportunity for reset guard breaks or just resets in general. So if I do 1 light, he's still up on the ground, I can get him with a heavy or an up tilt or down tilt. If I do 2 lights, he's still there. If they're guarding, they're going to get guard broke. If I do 2 heavies here, I can do an up tilt or something like that. If I do 1 heavy still up there, I can do an up tilt. Also, after 3 heavies, if you didn't know, you can go into another light string instead of using lightning, which used to be kind of the thing you would do as Aizen. But what I like to do is after these 3 heavies, I like to do 1 light and then charged heavy. This mostly gets people, they try and sidestep it because they think they're going to get, you know, stage transmission or anything like that. But most of the time, they, you know, don't react fast enough. They get hit by it. So you either get a guard break or a stage transition, or just, you know, a heavy hitting, which means you can go into this type of thing. And if you really want, if they still haven't lost their stamina, you can do it again, try again. You pretty much do that until they either get guard broke or escape. So other ways of opening up your opponent when you're kind of in neutral stance. You see a lot of Aizen players, especially in Season 1 when this used to be annoying. When they hold heavy, they disappear and they come down, right? It's not too difficult to, you know, backstep or sidestep. You definitely want to backstep it. However, you can, as Aizen, you can kind of, you know, play with them. So let's say I do this, you know, in the very beginning of the round. They see it coming, and I condition them to kind of get used to this. Well, things I can do is when they see me just jump up in the air, I can use lightning in the air, and they might backstep, get hit by it, and I might be able, if I'm close enough, I can follow it up with a light combo or just another lightning. So boom, you know, boom. I missed that lightning, that was my bad. But basically things like that, and other things, if I didn't want to do lightning, I could do a charge light into an instant transmission in case they backstep again, or do a double backstep, I can still hit them. Basically, you can play with your opponent, you know, constantly guessing. Of course, they can react to it. You know, it's not too hard to, you know, wait to see if Aizen disappears, if he's still up in the air just holding lightning. I mean, just look at him. I'm pretty much up there for like years. Or just coming down like that. It's not that hard to see coming. However, most of the time when you're in a match and it's ranked or something, you know, you're moving fast, so you see him in the air, and I've done this to you a lot, you expect that, right? So, just some nice little tips there. Okay, guys, getting into some Aizen's combos. Now, most people you'll see will do this. You know, they try their best to land 3 heavies and then an assist, some sort of assist, into 3 more heavies and lightning, right? That's around 45%. There was a little chunk there. It's not 50%. There was a little chunk already off. It's around 45%, and that's okay, right? But let's say their guard's not broken. They have a chance to escape right here during the first 3 heavies, and they have a chance to high-speed counter during these 3 heavies. Now, they can't escape during here because they've been hit with an assist. And if you didn't know, when you get hit by an assist, you actually can't escape for, I think, around 2.5 seconds or so. Basically, I don't know the timing. It's pretty much like after 2 heavies, you can escape. That's pretty much the general thing with every character. But they can high-speed counter, and if they're matching square, they might get it, right? You know, we all know those players that just match square and get high-speed counters left and right. So, what I like to do, instead of going for the 3 heavy lightning, you know, that thing, is I like to do 3 lights into a charged up tilt, jump, lightning right away, jump again, lightning, coming down, and I was supposed to lightning there again, but I accidentally messed up. This equals confirmed damage. Now, confirmed damage means they have no chance of escaping, they have no chance of high-speed countering, no chance of vanishing. So, it doesn't do as much damage clearly. However, I get 100% confirmed damage here, and I know everything's gonna hit. I can call an assist too if I really want. I think he whites out here. Yeah, he whites out right there if I try and do more heavies. But if I wanted to, I could call in my Toguro and then use lightning again or ult. However, I don't really recommend it. As you can see, it does around 40%. It's only 5% less than what we got before. However, we did use 3 bars. So completely up to you with what you really want. I like to confirm damage, and of course, you know, I'm not, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world if they escape from this or they high speed counter you. So doing this is completely fine too. Alright guys, going into Aizen's Vanish String it's okay, you know. There are better Vanish Strings, and actually this is pretty much exactly like Dragons, to where we do 3 heavies, Vanish, and then Dash, and we can continue the 3 heavies. The only problem I see with this is that it feels kind of useless, right? Because we can do this with just doing 1 light, right? We don't need to do the Vanish String. We can just do 1 light right here and then do 3 heavies again. So it seems kind of redundant to have it, but I'm going to go ahead and explain why this is actually really good and how we can use this. So instead of doing the 3 heavies into the Vanish String, I want you guys to do 2 heavies, Vanish, and Dash. Well, no, look, wait, he's guarding. He can guard. Well, that's a risk I'm going to take, guys, because if we do 2 heavies, Vanish, Dash, and hold square, we can guard break him, right? So let's say, here, I'll prove to you what I'm trying to do here. So watch his stamina bar here. So if we guard break him, we're going to start with 3 heavies here. We do the string, boom. 3 heavies. He's gonna get his stamina back after this right here. Boom. Gets it back. We're gonna do 2 heavies. He gets his stamina back. He can escape, guard, do whatever. Boom, boom, boom. And we just reset, right? We just go through this process of just doing this still. Stamina's back. Now he can escape if he wants, but we're just gonna go through. I accidentally messed up right there. But you see what I'm trying to get at. It's an endless loop of just Aizen. It's annoying Aizen, pretty much. So, guys, definitely try out this second heavy vanish string here because it is very good, especially when you do the dash charge. So make sure when you dash, it's kind of tricky. For some reason, I keep messing up right now. When you dash, hold square, and you'll guard break them. Now, yes, they might have the reaction to sidestep, and you'll go super far and you'll miss. However, it's okay, right? And if you're worried about them sidestepping, like I said before with the 3 heavies, you can just do the 3rd heavy and you'll hit them on the sidestep. And then you can go back into the vanish string. So, I'm trying to think how I can prove this. I don't think I can prove it right now, but you could just go back into the vanish string, they'll reset, and you get what I'm saying. So, hopefully you get what I'm saying. If you don't, I'm trying my best here. It's hard for me to do it on a CPU, but yeah, hopefully you get it. Combo time, guys. We're going to go ahead and go over Aizen's best combos and what you should be doing. Now, I do use Toguro as an assist, and you can hate me or you can hate Toguro, but guys, Toguro is the best assist for Aizen. Fu uses him. He taught me a lot of stuff with Toguro using this. So, I don't care if you think Toguro is toxic. If you're playing Aizen, just use Toguro. Of course, there might be a better assist that you prefer, but for me, I like Toguro, so go ahead. If you want to copy my kind of playstyle, use Toguro. So this is what we're going to actually go for. Aizen does have solo resets, such as what I said earlier with the 2 lights. You can do 1 heavy reset or a 2 heavy reset, right? But Toguro also kind of has a reset with Aizen. When we do 3 heavies into lightning, as Goku teleports, if we time it perfectly, I messed it up right there, we can actually reset him. Right there. Nope, that didn't reset. Let's see if I can do it. There's the reset right there. As you see, the health bar went around. However, I don't know what I'm trying to say. The health bar reset. It went back down, taking the maximum damage that we were outputting. However, the whiting out does not reset. So he can still white out if we do too much to him. So let me show you guys what I'm going to do with this reset and how we can actually get a 100% combo from this little reset here. Alright guys, now this combo does need to only start with 1 light. If you do any more lights, he will white out during a certain part. So you start with 1 light, 3 heavies, into lightning, into Toguro, and doing the reset. 2 heavies, and then a charged up tilt, jump, use lightning. Now I did another lightning just cuz, and then as you do the second lightning in the air, ultimate, and it will be 100%. Alright guys, there's a couple things that can go wrong in this reset that happens with any reset combo because they can guard during any point of the reset. So when the Toguro reset happens, they can guard, and I'll show you right now what I mean by this. If I try and do the reset, this Goku should guard. Okay, I did it wrong. Give me 1 more second. Boom, boom. Guarding right here, right? And then I can go into like another mix-up and stuff, but if I'm awakened, my awakening meter is ticking down now and I can't, come up with anything. I gotta break its guard fast, right? Also, the other part of the reset is when I do 2 heavies into a charged up tilt. Most of the time, though, they don't have time to react and it will guard break them. However, the bad thing about this is Toguro stays out way too long when I do this. So if I try and do 2 heavies into a charged up tilt and they guard, it doesn't guard break them because Toguro is technically still out on the field. So, if you really wanted to, you could do something like this. We do this, Toguro. Okay, didn't have Toguro, great. 3 heavies, lightning, Toguro, right? Without the reset. Boom, boom. You can do 3 heavies into a charged up tilt, jump, and pretty much go out the same way as you were doing it. However, they do have a chance to escape on the 3rd heavy and when you're trying to do the charged up tilt. So that's kind of a gamble if they're going to guard during the 2nd heavy. However, if they are starting to guard during the 2nd heavy, I do recommend going to the 3rd heavy and doing the charged up tilt. Or if you really want, and if you're not going for the 100% combo, you can just do 2 heavies and then ult, right? Still good damage, lots of damage, and chances are you're not even in the right scenario to land 100% because they've probably already gotten hit quite a few times. So they're probably going to be around like 80. So just ulting after that will still get you the KO and the round. Now, guys, I will tell you, you don't need to land the Toguro reset. It's really just there for if they're starting to guard the 2 lights into the up tilt, right? It's just there for that extra little bit of reset, and they might not know how to guard. But I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna go ahead and show you just the combo. If you don't do the Toguro reset and you do land the 2 heavies into charged up tilt, this still 100% and it's still good. So Toguro reset, how's the best way to explain this? Is there just as an extra precaution if you want the extra damage or need the extra damage, just as a gamble, you know. The biggest gamble is the up tilt, in my opinion. Toguro, most people don't know about that with Aizen, and they won't expect it, you know. So I think Toguro's the easier reset if you just practice the timing. As you can see, I still get it wrong. It's right when you teleport. I got it wrong right there. I pressed it too early. So go in the training, definitely practice that, and I just think that's the easier reset to land. Alright guys, for Aizen's Team Awakening combo, now he does not have one with the you know, normal instant transmission. He just doesn't go fast or far enough. But what he does have is something pretty sweet, and Toguro is really good for this only because when you call in Toguro assist, most of the time you land it, right? So if I randomly call in Toguro and I happen to catch my opponent, I just do 3 heavies, Team Awakening, move a little forward, call in Toguro, and ult. Now Toguro will catch him after this, and I'll show you how annoying you can actually be with this freaking Toguro assist here. Good damage right here, catch him, 3 more heavies, into a lightning, into a Toguro, and if we want, look at that, we reset him. Of course he will white out, but I technically got 3 Toguros there, right? Really, really annoying. Of course, having that many Toguros, definitely gonna reset him right there. But guys, good damage right there. Even without the reset, I still think it would have been roughly the same. 80%, I think, right there, maybe 75. But still pretty good Team Awakening. And the best part is it's just like Blackbeard in that one video. You just need to land Toguro, and then you just go into this. It's really great, really simple, really easy. You don't need your fully charged Awakening. You just need to have ult. So I'll show it to you again, just right here. If we want to do the up tilt reset, we can. Yeah, all right. Or he whites out. I guess you can't. Just stick with the 3 heavies into lightning. Also, guys, if you don't start it off with Toguro assist and you just happen to get 3 heavies off and you Team Awakening, call in Toguro ult. It's way bigger damage because the Toguro assist at the beginning definitely reduces the damage. Right here, this should be around 50% if I just do 3 more heavies. Boom. Boom. Go for the reset. And yeah, look at that, 97% right there. Pretty good if I didn't try to do that extra heavy. I don't think he would have whited out. He might have whited out, but because we didn't use the Toguro assist in the beginning, I think we might have been able to get 3 more heavies off. You know what? Let's try it. Let's try it. Well, yep, if you start it with 3 heavies instead of Toguro, you can keep going and you actually get 103% right there. So, real nice. Pretty easy Aizen reset. I mean, like I said, I am resetting him with Toguro, so practice that timing. The best advice I can give you is right when he teleports, call in Toguro. I mean, just right there, that's like 60% with just a normal combo, right, with the Toguro reset. So definitely aim for those Toguro resets, guys. Real simple. If your opponents start catching on to them, just do the basic, you know, don't do the reset. Just call it in before they teleport, and then do this. Still good damage. Now, guys, that's really all about, you know, you really need to know for his combos. You know, always strive for those 3 heavies into lightning. Of course, you can do 5 lights into lightning, into Toguro or something, dash up, 3 heavies. Lightning, you know, does roughly the same thing, right? You just have a lot of opportunities to do it. Most people try and escape when you do the 3 heavies, so if you want to catch them off guard, do 3 lights into lightning, get that damage down, feel free to do that. Now, like I said before, I was going to tell you what I like to do with airtight and the 4 lights into airtight. Now, what I like to do about this, and the only time I actually really use this, is when the opponent is awakened and they're basically just trying everything in their power to ult me, right? So I think a lot of the time you'll find, when the opponent's awakened, they'll dash up to you. Let's say a Goku dashes up to me and I'm starting to hit him with lights, right? What's going through my mind is when this man is about to escape and just press ult, right? Now that should probably go through a lot of your minds. Usually, B and A players, they don't escape right away, right? They just kind of wait until, the opponent gets scared because, like, I'm scared he's going to escape. So they wait for the opponent to get scared and drop it, right? They're dropping it on purpose because they're scared. They don't want to take the chance the opponent is going to escape and ult them. So what I like to do is, usually it's around here that people would drop it, right around 3 or 4 lights. And when I use airtight, it knocks them back so far, and I have protection from this shield, right? And if I really wanted to, I could just get some extra damage from it and just go into Black Coffin, depending on how many bars I have, get a little chip damage, call in Toguro to stall him even more. Even if it doesn't hit him, if I don't pull off Black Coffin, I can just stand here taking bit by bit health, and they might even ult, into which I can just guard right here, right? And I'm safe, and if it's Goku, it's an unsafe ult, right? So, a great mechanic right here with these 4 lights. Of course, if they escape on the 3rd light and then they ult you, what are you gonna do? I think the risk is definitely worth it. Right here, boom. Call in Toguro to stall more time. Even if they're guarding, they're still getting their health taken away, so it's just really worth it, guys. I recommend trying it out. It's, like I said, it's very specific to that situation. I guess you can do it just naturally if you really wanted to, if you have 5 bars, just doing it right here, even if they're not awakened, but that's when I do it. Alright guys, I believe the last and final thing is just something you can do with Black Coffin that I'm pretty sure Fu invented. I don't know. I learned it from him. So if you do 3 heavies, instead of doing the vanishing or just 1 light, what you can do is just go into Black Coffin. Now you do need above 3 bars for this. Go into Black Coffin, guard, or spam guard, and just go into heavies, right? And because you're not actually hitting them with a light or a vanish, you can actually keep doing this more until you run out of bars and just keep going, right? Awakened, it does a lot. You're really never gonna use this in an actual match. Fu's done it to me sometimes. Like, it works, it's effective. But, they're gonna escape eventually, and, it's pretty much just another mix-up tool you can go into. So, just another thing I thought you should know. I guess I could tell you how to mix up. So, let's say they're trying to escape, like, right here, I get vanished or whatever. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff you can do with it. Alright guys, I almost forgot my favorite thing to show you. During air battles, instead of, calling in Toguro right here and then going like this, which sometimes works, I would recommend doing something like this, where on the second one right here, or the first one technically, you just call in Toguro right there, he'll catch him, and go into some heavies or do whatever you need to do, right? Most of the time, if I call in Toguro right here, it won't connect. See, it missed right there, so definitely go, if you're planning on doing this, go for this. And if we really wanted to, you could, the Team Awakening combo, right? The damage reduction is gonna get hard right here, like this shouldn't do anything, but it's an option if they're very low health and you just need to get that last tick of health down. So, guys, I think that's actually it for the guide today. Yeah, White's out here. Thank you so much for watching. I think it was a pretty long one. I think it's around 30 minutes so far. Like I said before, I think Sasuke is next. And I do have to say, I was recording this on my PC. I do have the PC version of Jump Force. My PS4 was not working for some reason. I got to get that sorted out fast, because that's going to be scary. Let me know if you liked it on the PC. It's supposed to, PC does move a lot smoother than PS4. However, I did have to turn the music off because it was very hard for me while editing at the same time to record, because I had the music in one ear and I tried to hear the audio in another ear, and it was just a mess. So let me know if you want to see it on PC more. However, it's going to be very silent without the music. You're just going to hear my beautiful voice talking. And if you want it on PS4, I don't think it looks too much different on the PC, but it might to you guys, and it might look better. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Also, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers, guys. Technically, I think I should be going for 900, but we've been growing quite a bit. So I can't thank you enough for the support. This is awesome. I'm glad you guys are here and watching this. So if you made it to this part of the video and you're hearing this gratitude, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. So see you in the next guide. Thank you so much. See you later.